Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our third DEPT Lunch Break. Today is all about smarter IT, and during these sessions, we will dive into some of the hottest trends and insights around this topic and help you join the conversation. Today, we are being joined by our amazing Jasper and Wesley, who are our directors of integrations and of cloud. And what they do is help our clients bring their IT practices to the next level and really bridge the gap between business and IT. So what's on the schedule for today? Well, we have two presentations by these excellent speakers, and afterwards we have time for Q&A. If you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to place them in the chat and we'll address them by the end of this session. So before we dive into the actual presentations, let's have a look at some stats. Because as you're all aware, our IT and tech world is changing rapidly. And adopting new innovations is really the top of all of our agendas. So what you see is that a lot of companies are calling this also a driver of both their business as well as IT. And we see this in multiple changes and trends happening right now. So for example, a lot of companies are moving over to the cloud. We see AI as a big trend, of course. At the start of this year, it was only 5% adoption. And now by the end of the year, almost everybody has integrated AI in some of their practices. And not only is this important in the field of our business and of technologies and innovations, no, it's also impacting the more bigger topics of our world, like, for example, sustainability, where we see this can really make a difference. And so as a result of all these trends and changes happening, what we see is on the one hand, we have a lot of opportunities to do great things, to innovate. And on the other hand, we're also dealing with a more complex landscape. And so today, what we want to tell you is more about how to navigate through this complex landscape and how to go about IT and tech in a smarter way. To start off with Wesley, who's going to talk about cloud and how to bring it to the next level.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Lisse. Thank you. So I want to discuss topics that are relevant for today and tomorrow in regards to cloud technology. At DEPT, we help our customers to bring business and IT together by understanding tech and non-tech languages and act as a bridge between both worlds, which is more important than ever. We selected a couple of trends that we think are important to mention, which comes down to the following. First, the cloud is becoming more complex than ever, and it seems that we're sometimes overthinking our architectural decisions within the cloud that are needed to run a simple web application, for example. And how can you simplify that? And why it is important to keep things as simple as possible. Second, but just as important, is to look how to implement these cloud technologies on a responsible level within specific sustainability in the cloud. And we all have a role to not overconsume, but to be smarter in regards to sustainability. And last, and obviously, we cannot look away from AI when we're talking about smarter IT. I'll show you the tools that we use in our cloud teams that use AI technology to make our lives and our customers' life easier. There are a lot of ways to simplify your cloud setups, like using composable architectures, making use of infra and configuration as code, involving low-code and no-code cloud services, and last but not least, using artificial intelligence. But we would love to highlight edge computing. Nowadays, we all want to shift faster, as the business demands that we roll out new features on a daily basis. To be able to go up with the pace of those release cycles, we cannot use over-complex cloud setups anymore, but rather a simplified component-based setup that does the work for you. With component-based cloud computing, we are able to build and deliver solutions fast. By using this component-based strategy, the time needed to build, deploy, and run applications has decreased by 35%. In trends, we see that edge computing is becoming a game changer. Gartner predicts that by 2025, 75% of enterprise-generated data will be processed outside of a traditional data center or cloud. But more importantly, IDC sees a 50% increase in using cloud computing by 2025. But what is edge computing? Edge computing optimizes internet devices and web applications by bringing computing closer to the source of the data, the edge to be precisely. And simple said, it brings your solution closer to the user to decrease latency and provides a better experience. And what benefits will it bring to you? It will give you a simplified cloud setup, a fast globalized approach, increase in performance, and obviously cost savings. So how does that look like in practice? In this simplified architecture, you can see that we only use cloud components to run a content website, where the edge is running a blazing fast front-end website and using a headless CMS service. And as you can see, there is no need for complex hyperscaler cloud implementations or a private data center anymore. Does this mean that private and public clouds are not needed in the near future? No, not at all. These setups are for specific use cases where you can deploy your lightweight applications faster on a simplified setup. For one of our clients, we use this setup with success. In this case, we use Cloudflare to use their edge computing technology to run the web front end of the website in the edge. And being able to deploy fast and act on a global level is important, but what kind of impact does it have on your sustainability footprint? In the next trend, I want to talk about sustainability in the cloud. Based on various studies, we know that all internet use is causing 3.7% of worldwide CO2 emission. That's almost as much as all airplane traffic throughout the world. And with that in mind, it means that we all have a shared responsibility with sustainability, and in specific how we run our workloads within the cloud. At DEPT, sustainability runs through our veins, as we are a B Corp certified company. We have sustainability in mind when designing solution architecture, for example. The pillars we focus on are energy reduction and efficiency across all components of a solution, which can be converted in the following: data design and usage, software application design, code efficiency, platform deployments, and last, utilization and scaling. With that said, moving your workloads to the public cloud can reduce the CO2 footprint with 78% for large enterprises and 96% for small businesses. In this overview, you can see where the responsibility in regards to sustainability lies within the cloud. On the right side, you'll see the pillars that we've mentioned earlier, and there lies the user's responsibility of the cloud. And on the left side, you see the components where the responsibility lies for the hyperscaler. Based on the responsibility that you have as a user in the cloud, I want to share the following steps to get started. It is important to understand your impact by defining where you can make a difference. Sustainability goals should be part of your business goals. And make sure to reduce the downstream impact of your cloud workload by using smart technologies. Try to maximize utilization as much as you can, and be on top of any new, more efficient hardware and software offering that the cloud offers. And even though sustainability in the cloud is not part of the overall business plan, make it part of your own personal plan for a more sustainable and greener future. One of the tools that we use to measure against the sustainability pillar in our cloud environments is Cloud One Conformity from Trend Micro. It is based on the 6 pillars of the well-architected framework, and in this case specifically measuring the sustainability pillar. Combining sustainability and AI in the future would be definitely a win, which is also a nice bridge to the next topic, AI and cloud. And I want to briefly touch upon the impact that AI has on cloud platforms and services that are available out there. Automation is something we use in our daily work when working with cloud technologies. Having AI in a mix is something that we can speed up our work to do the work in the cloud, increasing efficiency and allowing IT to focus on more innovative development. We are able to identify problems easier and run a more safe and stable cloud environment. All big cloud providers don't sit still and focus on the following services: They have introduced these 3 services for their AI pillar and will continue to develop these services to run a more smarter customer solutions. I want to show you some of the AI cloud services that we see as a trend and some of which we are using in practice. Datadog has launched Bits AI, which is a generative DevOps Copilot feature that can help you investigate and respond to incidents more efficiently. In here you see an example of an AI chat function that helps you to identify an issue without the need for looking manually through all metrics. And as a partner, we work really close with Trend Micro and using their security products to protect our customer environments. Trend Micro uses machine learning and AI techniques in their Vision One solution to identify possible threats and vulnerabilities faster. One of those products is Companion, a new generative AI security assistant that companions you to ensure your digital attack surface on the cloud remains secure. And while the amount of AI services are growing, there's also a need for having a security gateway to observe our AI providers in a smarter way. Cloudflare has introduced AI Gateway to gain visibility and control over AI apps. This new feature provides in-depth insights about the incoming and outgoing traffic from your AI implementations. And I just want to mention that AI is here. AI tools are used day by day by our engineering teams, like using GitHub Copilot or ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot. And it's just a matter of time before it will replace existing and non-existing automated tasks to deliver faster and smarter. And to close it off and to recap on all 3 topics, I want to mention, keep your cloud as simple as possible. Overcomplexity will give a lot of overhead and unneeded extra costs. We all have a responsibility to make cloud solutions more sustainable, whether it's technical or business driven. And we can't go around AI anymore. Use it to automate everything, anywhere. And we will now go over to Jasper, who will tell more about how to integrate smarter. But before we do that, we'll first show our cloud capabilities with you in a short video.
As a CTO or CIO, you know the importance of leveraging cloud technology to grow and secure your business. At DEPT, we're passionate about helping our clients to achieve this through our specialized and experienced engineers and our cloud-first approach. Our team has the expertise to deliver high-quality solutions that are reliable, performant, secure, and scalable. We're cloud agnostic, meaning we choose the best fitting cloud technology based on our best of breed philosophy. We're partners with cloud technology leaders like Google, Microsoft, AWS, and Cloudflare to bring our clients the best solutions available. Our 4-step approach, designing, building, moving, and running, guides our clients on their journey to the cloud. With the well-architected framework as a foundation, we automatically deploy cloud components with infra as code, and using cloud-agnostic tools like Terraform. Using fully automated continuous integration and deployment pipelines, we're able to guarantee high code quality and zero downtime deployments. Choose DEPT as your partner in cloud innovation, and let us help you to drive business success through the power of the cloud. This is DEPT.
Hello, so I'm Jasper Steenweg, Integration Director, and I want to talk about how to integrate smarter. And it's all based on what we see happening in the market is that customers expect optimal rich experiences. It's all higher expectations everywhere. So everything has to be easy, fast, interesting, and without barriers. And in the same time, it also needs to be secure, especially in this time, of course. Security is everything. So the companies that come to us, they're all racing to create seamless digital experiences and develop them faster. Speed is of the essence at the moment. And when doing that, it's also that the business is more and more involved with choosing the right the technology to do so, to create those customer journeys. Which results also in the fact that there's a growing collection of systems to meet all the growing demands that we have that we face nowadays. So, for example, there are on average 130 SaaS applications at enterprises. Not all of them are, of course, directly used to support the customer journey, but a lot of them are, and it's really a growing collection that we see. And on top of that, we're also facing now AI. It's around the corner. It's here. Look at last year alone. In the beginning of 2023, there were like 5% of companies using AI, and now at the end of 2023, it's around 80% that have used generative AI or other AI algorithms. So it very much looks like there's a new revolution that has begun. So these are, new challenges that we're now facing. There's just higher customer expectations everywhere. We're seeing a growing application landscape. And next to that, we now also need to become smarter using AI. These are challenges, and we think that these challenges can also be transformed in opportunities. And we can turn all these changes into a competitive advantage. And to do so, we would like to advise on 3 steps to accelerate, because everything needs to be realized as quickly as possible. So first one is about composable architecture, to adopt that and to leverage on it. And the next one is when choosing your software and your technology, to apply the MAG approach on top of it. And the last one is all about integration and automation, and even hyper automation in the future. First tip of composable architecture. It's all about, it's a trend. We see that happening already for a few years, is where companies are moving away from big monoliths and actually selecting the best software that suits the company and organization processes. And now that's even more leading into the customer journey. So the customer journey is increasingly leading the business and technology decisions, and actually leading the which software fits best and can support best the customer journeys that we envision. So to give a little bit of context, I created a high-level diagram on what we're actually talking about, which on the top we have the different digital channels, where mobile and web and maybe shop are the most important and most used, of course. But on top of these challenges, that is where we plot our customer journeys, and that is where our users navigate our applications. And they are supported by a growing collection of systems. We see more and more systems being added to achieve what we want. And they are directly or indirectly supporting the customer journeys. Now, all of these white blocks, those are the systems that are made up of the composable architecture, and that is where we want to select the best systems that support our customer journeys. So if we have a architecture like this, the benefit that we see is that we gain more flexibility to achieve that customer-driven development that we all want. And when selecting the right technology or the best technology for our company organization, we think it's very interesting to look at the MAG approach. Well, we as DEPT, we are a member of the MAG Alliance, a group of like-minded agencies and vendors that actively promote and support MAG. And we think that with MAG, a composable architecture becomes even more flexible and powerful. So what is MAG then? Actually, it's a set of architectural principles where MAG stands for microservices, API first, cloud native, SaaS, and headless, where microservices are independently or developed services that can work independently from each other. API first is all about having your functionality of software functionality also available as APIs, so you can integrate more easily with it. And cloud native SaaS is all about building software or software solutions on top of cloud to achieve high scalability and high availability. And headless is all about decoupling the front end from the back end, so we have smaller releases and we can iterate faster. And the benefits are mostly about speed of development, faster innovation delivery. With headless, we can have those smaller releases. We can deploy only the front end and have less worry about the backend systems. Also, using SaaS technology, We receive new innovation features immediately, and they are immediately available to use. And the third one is, I think, a major impact as well, is that we don't have any more version upgrades. We don't need to worry about backwards incompatibility or have long-term refactoring going on. So when we have Composable and we have a MAG approach on top of that, when selecting your technology, we also need to integrate and be ready to hyper-automate. And also, to achieve an optimal customer journey, all systems need to work as a unified whole. So all these different systems that we have selected in our architecture, they need to all work together. But that's not so easy. Achieving a seamless unification is often a struggle. What we see happening is that can become complex very easily, especially when using code, for example, or having different teams or many specialists working on it. People leave, there's a legacy being built up, so it can easily become uncontrolled, which eventually lead to delays. And delays are, delays are, of course, we don't want that, which leads to missing out on business opportunities. There are surveys being done that 67% of companies have been missing out on business opportunities because of integration issues, delays. So customer journey driven development, that is what we want to achieve with DEPT. We cannot wait for the central integration team. We need to speed up. Delays are, we don't want delays in that. We need to speed up, especially in this era. And we think that thanks to technological evolution, it's not needed anymore as well, because we now have a composable architecture using all kinds of SaaS technologies that are readily available and high performant and high available. They are most often, especially if we use a MAG approach, with API first development in mind. So all of the functionality is already available via APIs, which are standardized. They all use JSON. They all use REST APIs in there as well. And if we then combine that with a low-code integration platform and use that more actively, we create a very powerful and fast stack to actively adopt all the new customer journeys. So low-code integrations, they have become mainstream. They have evolved a lot in time, and there's just a lot of functionality that we can use out of the box and very easily. Think of, at least integrating your system, connecting your systems with out-of-the-box connectors, but also API building, experience API building as well, API management on top of that, or all kinds of other functionality. But it also gives you a standardized way of working. When using low code, they often have out-of-the-box patterns to use, and everybody can train and work the same way within such platforms, which can be very beneficial, especially when having different teams working on an integration platform. When someone has trained and be certified on a platform, they can just step in and immediately start working. Also, the low-code integration platform as a service market, it's growing very rapidly. What we see happening is that it's 33% on average growth every year. So it's also one of the reasons that we started building our integration practice and providing an essential building block in composable architecture. We want to connect the systems, integrate them all in order to support the customer journey. And with Boomi and MuleSoft, we can deliver those integrations, and we can deliver them as fast as needed for the digital channels. And when delivering an integration platform, we can use it as the core integration platform for your company, or we can also have it working next to hybridly connecting to existing back office service bus solution. It's both, it's possible. They can work together or standalone. Now also AI is of course around the corner, it's here. And what we also see happening is that Boomi now, for example, has trained an AI model on 200 million integrations, which allows you to, via text, textual input, to connect systems, which makes it even more easily to use to connect your systems. So to summarize, again, we have a high-level overview. To achieve that competitive advantage, I think we should all adopt a composable approach and choose your technology with the MEG principles. We should leverage more on a low-code integration platform as a service to connect and automate to connect your systems and automate processes, all in order to support the customer journey in that, and also be ready to integrate AI in your landscape and to be ready for hyper automation. And the last part is about when using code. We think that should be used on the front end, because that is where you can make a difference, and that's where you can also be unique and achieve that optimal and rich experience that the end users want. We're doing that already with a lot of our customers, and we're rolling this out. So one of them is Johnson Workwear, for example, where we are now building a new e-commerce, composable e-commerce platform, and also applying MAG principles on top of that. But next to Johnson, we also have a lot of other cases and case studies available to look into, to dive into. This is what I want to tell.
Great, thank you so much, both you, Jasper, and Wesley. Big hands from at home.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we've already been receiving some of your questions. If you have any additional questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And let's dive into the first one, which is directed at Wesley. How do you select your cloud computing partner?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what we do is, first of all, obviously check first the technology, which is really important to understand where we miss something in our current tool belt. If we find a partner that delivers that sort of technology, we will assess the technology itself, and then in parallel start a conversation with a partner to understand what their partner program is, to see how mature the company is, and also to feel like there's a connection between us and between the partner itself. Those are the most important facts that we use to eventually embrace a partner and onboard it. But the last off is that we have an internal tech authority, which feels more like a bureaucratic process, which is not. But we just, as a company from our size, we cannot just embrace all tools that are out there. So we go through the tech authority, which is a multidisciplinary group with a lot of experienced architects, directors, etc. And then we choose which product fits in our new tool build. So that's a bit about the process.
Great, thank you so much. Perfect. The second question is for Jasper. And here's the question. What's the biggest challenge of the rise of AI for preparing your platform or infrastructure?
I think we should add flexibility to it. So that's what I also mentioned, that I still not see using, for example, low code enough at the moment. And I think that it can be a game changer at the moment, comparing to using code, for example, which adds complexity from the start already, because I think code is complex, especially developing. So the less we need to develop, the more flexibility we can add. And adding AI to it is being ready for it. That is where I believe in.
Great.
Use Composable, select the right technology, leverage on SaaS, which is available, highly scalable and performant, and choose the best technology for your processes, and combine that with a low-code platform to incorporate new AI models or algorithms within your existing landscape.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. On top of that, there's another question from somebody in the crowd, and what they're asking is, we have a complex IT landscape. Where do I start with renewing with integrations?
That depends maybe a bit on what the challenges are. Probably there are already integrations, so I think a thorough analysis would be needed, but maybe let's have a look at where we can have the most impact and start with that. There needs to be a migration going on then, of course, if you want to change your integrations. So yeah, fairly difficult to say, but start with low-hanging fruit or where we can have the most impact and solve your challenges. I would like to start then.
Nice. And are there certain watch outs that you see with more companies when they start with renewing their integrations, or things that are indeed, to your point, low-hanging fruit?
You mean that what we see with other companies happening?
Yeah.
Or
What's more common and
well,
could
what
be
we
helpful to others?
see happening is when there is a big project going on anyways, that there is also a choice for a new integration platform being made. For example, when there is a revamp of an e-commerce platform, that we immediately add a low-code platform next to it. And from there on, we start building out from the e-com platform towards automation and changing business processes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to start somewhere. And I think it's good to think about the best place where to start.
Yeah. So would you say that if there's a change happening, then it's a good time to already start doing this as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah. If you're going to make big changes or have big changes coming up, then I think it's a good moment to also start thinking about the rest of the landscape and how to integrate it in a proper way.
Great.
Yeah.
And maybe a question for both of you, because we touched upon AI fairly short in the presentations. From both a cloud and integrations perspective, what is the development in AI that you're most looking forward to, or which you think will make the most change in your field? Maybe just starting with Wesley.
Yeah, good question. So what you see right now is more generative AI, right? So you provide feedback or you put something in and you get something back. So that's I think the start. It helps to guide you through a certain tool or through a certain or going to a solution. I think the next step would be even to automate even more than it's possible right now. So we are already using a lot of automation, but they're still done a lot manually. And in my opinion, AI would be really great if you can just go to a cloud environment and just say, okay, I need this, this, and this for a specific setup, and it will be automatically deployed. That would be sort of the end goal, maybe, to make things more easier and obviously more secure.
Yeah, nice. So a bit maybe linking to what Jasper was also mentioning, that you only have to type it in, you don't actually have to do the work yourself anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Co-piloting, right? So it's helping out. I don't trust it completely.
Yeah.
So, and I think also that we're not there yet. Maybe in the future, who knows? But I think it's always score-based. So there's a certain percentage of correctness.
Yeah.
So you cannot completely trust it. But it can definitely help out and set a base. Or, for example, what Boomi does is they train the model. So there's quite a high accuracy, and it can help you already prepare a lot of the work that needs to be done. And so then you're more like validating the solution instead of building it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would that also be your dream, that that goes more fluently and?
Well, we all everything we want everything to be more fluent, of course. So wherever we can speed up, I think that will help us, because eventually, what we want to achieve is a thriving business on digitally. So where we can have high value services for our end consumers.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're almost at the end of the presentation. Are there any final tips that you want to give to the people at home, or any insights that you want to share on top of what you've already shared with us today?
For me, it's go Composable, leverage on SaaS, and combine that with low code and focus on the front end. And that is where we can make a difference. That's where we can be unique. That's your shop. And that's where we should use code.
Perfect.
Yeah, and for me, it's what I just mentioned in my presentation. Simplify your cloud. Don't over-architecture everything. Sustainability is something that we all have to look into, and AI is around the corner.
Great. Thank you so much. So for the people at home, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any more questions for Jasper or Wesley, feel free to reach out via LinkedIn or via our website. Thank you so much. We'll see you during the next DEPT Lunch Break.